Aloha. Last night I had a beautiful call with my best friend who lives in Japan. And, you know, it's kind of funny because we're talking about stuff. And it comes down to there's a lot of things that you can't explain in English. So we talk in Japanese, and she was telling me, oh, Monica wa shin ga tsuyoi kara. And I was hanging the laundry and I was thinking, shin ga tsuyoi kara means, I guess my principle and my ethics is so strong that, no matter what it takes for people to, if I feel certain things in my heart that doesn't resonate, I don't move. And, we were just kind of like talking about things, and it comes down to like, sometimes it gets frustrating being here in, the US, is that certain things are really rushed into. I mean, we're just talking about the vaccine shot, for example. In Japan, they're finally, getting the people to get the shot done, obviously from the elderlies and downwards. And so since, we're the same age, we were talking about that. And I said, well, look at what's happening in Hawaii. We have so much tourists coming in, and there's all these new things are changing, and it's really interesting because I guess in Japan, they didn't want to use other countries' vaccine. They wanted to use their own country-made in Japan vaccine to distribute. And so when you think about it, it kind of makes sense because, we are all built differently individually. And, we all get different kind of reactions and so forth and so on to different kind of shots. And so when you look at a bigger picture of the world and how, how it's controlled on giving out shots and things like that, and it comes down to really one's country's culture and the government, the people. And so, it's so interesting. And now that this traveling is going to start to open up, what's going to happen? You're going to have a, interconnection of different people from different cultures with different, vaccine shots, and some may have different kind of reaction towards the other. And it's going to be an interesting here on after, after the aftermath of Corona or COVID-19. So something that we kind of talked about, and it was such a worldly information because it comes from someone that you love and trust, and that you pretty much grew your life with, as being friends. And so it's not more of who's right, who's wrong, calling names. It was such a beautiful, open discussion about a lot of things. And so, I think I just saw it on my Facebook about, how some countries open up libraries where you can get the human book and sit with them for 1 hour or so and get to understand and listen to their knowledge. And really, isn't that what books is all about? Is writing, somebody's writing is knowledge and it's life. And so, that's the reason why I started my YouTube channel, because not because I want to be like I know it all. I don't know it all. But things that I learned from other people, because I had the, fortunate ability to travel all over the world and learn and sit down, and just like with anybody, that painting always, I always put it at the front of my house to remind me when I leave, is that these 7 things that he drew in that picture, he was amazed that I saw it. And so it really doesn't matter where you are in this whole entire world. It's using your senses and really feeling it from your heart, because those are the true words and the true memories that are spoken through your knowledge, your experience, because everyone experience, in life is what they bring into the table. And a lot of times people think karma is bad. It's not. Karma is really your life map. And if you really sit down and create, because karma is a making of your own life, whether it's good or bad, it's really our pattern of how we work through our life. Good or bad, karma happens, because it comes through your emotion, your thoughts, and most of all, your action. And it goes back to this thing called a memory bank. This is what we have in ourselves, is the memory bank, where we store these karmatic things, obviously our genetic things, and our cosmic stuff that happens all around us, and the evolution, and so all of this exists because guess what? This memory bank is really a product of you. And so there's all these 8 different kind of dimension of memory that we have in ourselves. And so how do we, why does karma, or why does history repeats? Why does things repeat? Because first of all, we have to acknowledge that it exists. Bad habits, certain behaviors, certain ways of thinking, certain judgment, you preconceive that, oh, okay, that person's hanging out with that person, so that person must be bad. What makes you think that person is bad? And so then it comes into this drama and unknown things that really didn't exist until somebody ignited something, because they really have this, like I say, history repeats itself, and sometimes when people are lonely, or when people want, they attract the wrong kind of karma because of the setting they're setting themselves up in that stage. And so so it doesn't repeat, like with relationship. How come every time I always break up, or I find a wrong person, or why am I finding a bad job every time, or why am I always getting the bad employees, or or why am I getting all these things? Why? Why is because you need to acknowledge it, number one, first of all. And then from that, you're going to rise above it, because you're going to start to really enjoy your karma. Oh, I hate bad karma. If you hate that bad karma, learn from it. Why is it bad? Examine it, unfold it, because it's so easy to blame the other person or blame something. because that's part of really not acknowledging it. It's easy to point a finger, then pointing the finger at yourself and saying, I don't want this to repeat. And so how can I start a fresh life? You know, there's a lot of things, oh, because of the way I was brought up, or my culture, or where I was living, and all these excuses. But you see so many of these people from, like, you know, for example, third world country, rise up, take themselves out, just like when Lotus, rise up, you know, from all those bad, you know, make them into good soil. You know, it's like what I'm doing right now. I have spoiled milk that I totally forgot. And so instead of throwing it away, it's good soy milk, organic. Put it back into Mother Earth, milk it, give it a milk bath, give it this nutrition, this calcium. And so I don't repeat my mistake by not paying attention to my refrigerator. I have so much things that, you know, you go out and buy because you're like, oh, okay, I'm gonna buy this. You overstuff your refrigerator, your cabinet, whatever we do, because we're so spoiled. We really, you know, we take advantage of the situation. And because we can't help it, because, for example, my mom was in a war. She was like only 3 years old when the war happened. And so she was brought up by my grandma, my great-grandmother, and so they collect things, you know, to make sure that in case if no more food, they get one refrigerator packed filled with rice, or packed filled with tsukemono, or packed filled with things that they know they can survive. And still the mentality of it still there, which she ingrained into us. So into this day, I always have rice in my freezer. You see? And so I'm getting off course right now, but what I'm saying is, you know, why things, these are good things, you know, because of a bad thing that happened, it turns into a good thing. Now I learn, you know, the third generation, that when no more food, I get food in case something happens, because who knows? And so, you know, how do you rise up is a big question. Well, start by acknowledging it, recognizing it, and getting your hands dirty again. In order for you to feel it, sense it, and acknowledge it, and really take action in how you're going to overcome this, it's really for you to enjoy this karma. A lot of people don't enjoy the ride. Instead, they speculate before they feel it. Because the only way you can start to really change and compass yourself is having that clarity, so your opu, or your compass, or your gut feeling will guide you in a better direction. And so this is one way to shed karma, because, you know, it's really an individual check. How is your mirror? Because you're going to latch right into your memory box, because that's really how your action is curated through all of this thing called the memory bank. And so just some tip, getting you ready for the full moon. You know, it was a very, you know, I made the month of June to be really a smooth ride for me to really acknowledge all of these things that's going on. I still have some pebbles and clients and this and that still wants to continue, but it's going to take up a lot of my time. Do I want to use my time? Is it worth the time? You know, so there's a lot of things that you need to step back. And when you step back, really evaluate, because then you'll find out your worth, your value, and your love, because this is the love is really something where your heart will guide you to really enjoy karma. Sounds what? But it's the truth, because karma is the biggest guidance that we were given. So you take care. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. I gotta hang my laundry. Aloha.